Welcome back to Season 5 of the FVC, Round 11, the Italian Grand Prix, and our second and final sprint of the season. The historic and very much iconic circuit of Monza, the Temple of Speed, promising to be a very good race. Currently, our last winner and last sprint pole sitter, Apex and Scarlet, are present with us today as well as on the same team. First few cars coming out, looking like the Mercedes are the first cars to take out of the pits. The audio is not working again. Give us 1 second. Lost the audio. And it is back. First car is out on track is going to be the Mercedes of Eldorado, followed by the Alfa Romeo of Blyapper and the Mercedes of D765. All very quick drivers, could very easily be challenging up near the top. Yellow in Sector 1, that looks like one of the Aston Martins has come into bother, coming through either the first chicane or spun out of the second corner. Lap record for the Temple of Speed currently sits at a 1:20.003. It is a very good lap time, but it is entirely possible these cars do break it, as we heard in our interview, under the right conditions. High speed track, these cars don't have quite as much pure downforce as the last generation, and they are a bit faster in a straight line. Invalidated lap time from D765, we are running strict track limits again. Cars getting ready for their first laps. Let's head over to Eldorado 2009, our first car out on track and going to be our first for the flying lap. Jumping on board, it's a long way down to turn 1, the DRS is going to be wide open the entire way through. Speed trap, end of the straight, just for the 150 board, then braking hard, turns 1 and 2. Chicane is going to be very hectic come the sprint race. Not much runoff on the exit either. Getting the grip good, going through Curva Grande, turn 3. Finish off Sector 1 before the chicane of turns 4 and 5. Purple Sector 1 for Eldorado, not surprised considering he is the first car out on track. Looks like it's been taken by the Alfa Romeo Blyapper. Eldorado runs off the track coming out of turn 5, heading into the first Lesmo, 2 90-degree right-handers. Second one you can take a lot faster than first. Eldorado just backing out a little bit, then second DRS zone heading out of turn 7. Finish off Sector 2. One of the Ferraris going to bother through Ascari. Staying off to the right hand side out of the way of all the oncoming traffic. And out of Ascari it's a long run down to Parabolica. Enter it in nice and sharp. Run out wide but not too far so that you invalidate both the laps. It's a straight run up to the finish line. The bar is set, 1:22.319 for Mercedes. Up next, the Alfa Romeo heads into pit lane. D765 takes provisional pole at 1:20.3. Simon Baker, 1:21.050 in second. Number of cars are boarding in laps. Curly 7 heading into 1:21.214. Up next, going to be the second Williams of OJ English. Second place, a 1:20.564. Back on track with us today is also FV Pixels for the McLaren team. Made a debut from Aston Martin as a reserve, have moved over to McLaren as possibly a, not sure if full-time or reserve there. Coming over the line, finishing off a flying lap is a 1:24.092. McLaren also graciously providing a tow to the Aston Martin behind, running off at turn 1. Let's jump over to Apex, who's on that flying lap. It's squirrely out of the first chicane, and just over to the right hand side of the track, gets back under control, coming around Curva Grande, nice and tight line coming out to the end of Sector 1. Purple first sector. Do it nice and steady, stays on the track. Through the second chicane of turns 4 and 5 now, the two Lesmos. First one's on camber, you can take more speed through it than you think, but the second one is where most of the speed is gained through these two corners. Run down to Ascari, not a purple middle sector, still has that purple first sector though. Clean line through Ascari, a little bit unstable in the exit, but now coming down the second straight. Run down to Parabolica is long, but it's over before you know it. A good line, nice and tidy within all the track limits for that final corner. Heading over the line, Apex does a 122.133. Up next over the line is going to be the Red Bull of Invictus Nog on a valid lap. Cleanly within track limits around the final corner. Keeps it to the right as good as he can. Now 121.169 puts the Red Bull driver into provisional 4th position. Up next, the Ferrari starting a flying lap, that will be JL Broughton. Also starting a flying lap is going to be Scarly 42. Moving back to the Ferrari, you can see just how tight turns 1 and 2 are. It's going to be very chaotic during the race. Bit unstable coming out the first Lasmo. Slight bit unstable coming out of the second as well. Rawson reporting he has made a glorious error in taking a Jetta setup. Might work in some parts of this track due to the high speed, but other areas such as the corners it may just be lacking. Bit of traffic coming out of Ascari, thankfully not too much in the way. Victor Snug moves up to 3rd with the 120.981. Rawson moves to 3rd with the 120.782, pushing Nog back into 4th. Up next, Scarly 42. Seems to have aborted or not set a lap. VNT Rosen was 5 place grid penalty for a collision with Salmon Baker. Apex reporting a purple 1 and 2 but ran out of fuel through the middle sector, or the final sector. We could be on to see an Aston Martin pole because he brought in running very far off the track in the first Lesmo. Next car to come over the line is going to be Harrison now in 29.06. McLaren driver proved his pace, he is very quick in these cars on the right day. Yellow set to 2 and 3 through a scar, looks like one of the Aston Martins, or maybe the Ferrari has come into problems. Harrison M, 131.830, that is not a representative flying lap. Freeboy 53 also heads into 8th with a 121.606. Up next, this time on a flying lap, Scarly 42 heads across the line to set a 121.693, putting herself into 9th. See the Mercedes going for another lap. Eldorado starting a second flying lap, trying to get a bit more pace, and the Mercedes teammate D765 behind, getting that toe down the main straight. Jumping back over to Harrison M, this time hopefully on a proper flying lap, round the final corner. Staying within the limits. Down to start finish straight, up to a 1:21.297, heading into 8th. Grid is very close together and very tightly packed. Starting another outlap, Alfa Romeo of Blyap of 51.69. Set on board for another full lap, long run down to turn 1, braking about 100 metre board into the chicane. The Alfa Romeo driver keeps it nice and tight, doesn't run off the track, power down very nicely out of the second corner. Up next, Curva Grande taking a very tight starting line. Comes out a little bit on the exit, gets right back onto the right side of the track, braking 100 metre board into the second chicane, turns 4 and 5. Take a bit more speed through the first corner, but don't be deceived. Steady line through the first Lesmo. Into the second, wider, very solid line as well. DRS now wide open, heading out of Sector 2 into Sector 3. The long run under the old circuit down to Ascari. Purple middle sector for the Alfa Romeo. And spins it through Ascari, that's into the wall. Braking the front wing, thankfully not going out of the session. That was a blistering run up until that point, but so unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver. Ace Imperial, can't wait to see T1 ending up looking like an explosion of Legos. Anything can happen in this league. We have seen the standards did improve in Kota round 10 due to some changes we made behind the scenes. However, this is Monza. It is a long run to a tight first and second and corners. Hopefully drivers take the wise route and go down the escape road if they have to, but they might not considering the risk of a potential in-game penalty, and they do know they cannot be removed. The Pixels heading over the second chicane, trying to get back to the start-finish line or to the pit lane to get ready for another lap. Unity Rosenquist coming around the final corner. Doesn't say they're on an outlap, presuming this is their flying. And over the line they are setting a nothing. Turns out that was their outlap. Heading onto the flying now. Let's jump on board with them for another lap around the Temple of Speed. Heading into the first corner, our teammate getting out of the way, breaking 100 metre board, locking up just a bit on the left hand side. Not the cleanest line through the first and second corners. Bit reluctant on the power, not as fast as some of the other cars. Locking up again, heading into the fourth and fifth corners. Not the fastest line. Heading through the Lesmos. Just backs out in the middle of the first one, that's a lot of time lost there. Moving through the second. Cleaner line, nearly losing the exit though. On the straight, heading to turn 8, Ascari corner, heading out of sector 3. DRS wide open, high speeds down this section of the track, braking hard into arguably the hardest section of this track. You can lose the rear end of these cars very easily. Rosenquist navigates it nicely though, keeping it in a straight line. Red Bull driver is carrying a 5-place grid penalty for the sprint, however is looking to make up many places as they can. Running wide out of the final corner, not a tight line as I would have hoped. Power down nicely on exit, heading towards the line. They set a 1:22.882, putting them into 14th provisionally. Blyap 169 heading on an outlap, still yet to complete a full flying lap. We did see how fast they can be with their blistering halfway through a full lap. However, spinning out of Ascari heading into the wall thankfully didn't break the wheel off, but that front wing did need to get changed. 3.5 minutes left of qualifying. The pace still stands at a 1:20.381 from D765 in the Mercedes team. Blyap heads back into pit lane. He's going to need to come out very quickly if he wants to set another lap. Five different teams in the top 5 so far, and 6 within the top 8. House and M getting very sideways out of the second corner. Simon Baker 4067 moves up into 5th place ahead of Invictus Nog with a 120.896. There is very little separating some of these laps, especially between 3rd and 4th. 127.82 and a 127.98. This race is going to be extremely close. Harrison M backing out of his lap of boarding, letting the Williams go on by. That is the Williams of OJ English. Currently sat in 2nd at 120.437. Very near the top of the championship as well, as we are focused on a Ferrari while looking at a Williams. That's not correct. OJ English coming around the final corner, heading into pit lane and boarding another lap. Joe Broughton coming around the final corner from a 127.82, doesn't improve, stays 4th. Mercedes duo coming again, 120.381 to beat for D765. It is a very fast lap time already, runs wide. Somehow lap doesn't get invalidated, heading into pit lane and aborting. Next car is going to be Eldorado, a 121.520. Lap's already invalidated, he's going to have to go for another. Heading back over to Season 4 defending champion Apex, currently a 121.196. He thinks he has the pace for pole position. Still has to put the lap together though. He is coming up on a stricken Red Bull right now. Judging on who's in the pit, that's going to be Invictus Nog, currently in 3rd of the 120.715 on the right hand side. Everything seems to be intact on that car. To Ascari, holds it together nicely. He'll be dropping into the slipstream behind that Ferrari, trying to get as much of an advantage as he can down the straight. 30 seconds left of qualifying. It's the final corner, running it out nicely, just the perfect amount. Getting on the power nice and quickly. Ferrari donkey out of the way. Apex across the line, moves into 5th at 120.789. 4th, 5th and 6th are milliseconds apart. It's now going very slow with the start finish. That's a very risky place. Still one car to settle lap though. Qualifying is over. This is his final attempt. Blyab at 51.69. The Alfa Romeo driver has been unlucky so far, but is very quick. He's got a toe behind this Williams nicely. He'll be absolutely roaring into Ascari. Purple middle sector again for the Alfa Romeo driver. Just has to keep it steady and clean through the chicane this time. Gets it done nicely, keeps it going in a straight line. This is going to be a very, very fast lap if he completes Parabolica. Brakes nicely, running it out wide. Perfectly halfway over the line. Rounding the final corner, across the line, it is a 120.545 into 3rd for the Alfa Romeo driver. Still a couple of cars finishing the laps. Up next, Scarly 42. Got a bit of a tow from their teammate. Round the final corner. Over the line, 121.693 to beat. Heads a 120.828 into 10th. Invictus Nog retiring from the session. Curly 7 heads into 5th, a 120.713. Extremely close again. That is everyone. Mercedes take pole, Williams in 2nd, and Alfa Romeo 3rd. 4th and 5th locked out by AlphaTauri. Not quite sure what we're waiting on. 2 cars are still considered as in the pits. I will go ahead and get the qualifying results done. As qualifying is now over, D765 takes pole position for the Mercedes team at 120.381, OJ English in 2nd, a championship contender, and Blyap at 51.69 for putting in a flying lap for the Alpha goes 3rd, but is getting knocked down 5 positions. Estrogen Impulse and Curly 7 take 4th and 5th, Invictus Nog in 6th, Broughton 7th, defending Season 4 champion Apex in 8th, Simon Baker in 9th, and Scarly 42 in 10th. Rounding out our bottom section of qualifying, we have Harrison M in 11th, Eldorado in 12th, Shreeboy 53 in 13th, FV Pixels in 14th, and VNT Rosenquist in 15th. Very close from some drivers, and we've seen some extremely quick cars. It's going to make for a very good race. But up next, before the main event, we've got our second sprint of the season. Welcome back to FVC Season 5. No formation lap for our second sprint. 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5 red lights are on. Very long hold, it's lights out and away we go. All cars getting a bit of a rough start. The AlphaTauri seem to get a good launch out of the rest of them. Going to be 3 wide into turn 1. Impulse pulling ahead, but OJ English on the inside, just backing out. Bit of a contact there from the Red Bull. Curly 7 getting punted out of the way by Invictus Nog. Everyone else seems to be making a lot of moves. The Aston Martins are up flying, 5th and 6th. The Aston Martin duo. SG Impulse leads after turn 1, heading through turn 3. That Williams is still there. It's going to be charging all the way down the straights. Clean start from most of the drivers. A couple getting unlucky though. AlphaTauri with a second row lockout, currently leading and down in 14th. Completely opposite ways. We've seen the Mercedes on D75 getting very unstable out of the chicane. He is dropping time to Impulse due to having the medium tyres. However, that car is flying in a straight line. Yellow, sector 2, 4. That is the Red Bull. VNT Rosenquist spun the second Lesmo. Getting a very unfortunate start for both the Red Bulls. Impulse driving away in a straight line. We're through the corners, however that Mercedes is catching and lurking. On board, Impulse 123.830, first flying lap of the race, obviously going to be the fastest. Here comes the Mercedes heading into turn 1, it's going to head to the right hand side, they're going to be 2 wide into the first chicane. Impulse on the outside, backs out, D765 takes the lead of the sprint, lap 2. Car much faster in a straight line. Impulse is on the better compound tyre, so he's going to be able to get up. We see in the background, JL Broughton challenging against OJ English, going to be moving for 3rd position into the second chicane. Impulse making a move down the inside. Hits in, Impulse spins round in front of the Williams. The hopes of the sprint are out for Impulse, but the race is still raging up in front. Scarly 42 up to 3rd. OJ falling fast due to a broken front wing. Broughton up into 2nd. VNT Rosenquist also retiring from the race. Impulse falling all the way down. It is a disaster for AlphaTauri. Grado also getting caught up due to their own incident. Second Lesmo. Battle for the front is leading, however, down in 4th and 5th. Harrison M is catching Apex. Very far off the track there for one of the cars. Not sure who that was, I think it was one of the Williams. Heading over to the right hand side, going to be challenging into Parabolica. Harrison now has a look out, not enough straight line speed to challenge the Aston Martin. Better compound tyres might work in their favour around Parabolica, could get that power down. D75, 122.356. The Mercedes team, new fastest lap. Harrison M is catching, DRS now enabled, lap 3 out of 5. Going to be 2 by 2 again into turn 1. Apex just pulling ahead, they're going to be side by side, the better braking by the McLaren, still there. Just getting the better launch, Harrison M out of the corner. Layap at 5169 in the background, running off the circuit, taking the escape road. That's going to drop him down a few positions. Rejoins onto the track, doesn't get in anyone's way. That is a good rejoin. However, he's now at threat to losing a position to the Red Bull. Things are quieting down at the front. I say that as we have a potential battle for second forming. Scarlet 42 is catching the Ferrari of JL Broughton through a scar. He's got to keep it here. Hardest section of the track, you can lose the cars really easily. Both of them navigate it nicely, but Scarlet is right there, gaining all the way down the straight. That time gap is falling. Not going to be close enough to make a move into Parabolica. They're going to have to just stay behind. One more lap, runs nearly into the back of the Ferrari. That is much closer now. Ferrari drops a mid-corner, going around. Scarlet getting caught up in it, breaking the wheel. Scarlet is out of the race. Broughton, 2-second penalty with collision for Scarlet. It was going so well and it was dropped so hard for the Aston Martin team now. However, they still have the chances. Broughton carrying a 2-second penalty. Apex is lurking in the background. through turns 1 and 2. OJ English and Invictus Nog trying to get best of each other for 6th place. We'll keep an eye on the battle for 3rd. Battle for 2nd actually is having moves made. Broughton getting ahead of Harrison M. FE Pixels, 2-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Early 7, 2-second time penalty for multiple warnings as well. B765, a 122.032, another fastest lap for the Mercedes team. Apex is just about hanging on there to that 3rd place with the 2-second time penalty for Broughton. Moving down to 7th though. Early 7 having a move against OJ English, going to be side by side to turn 1. The AlphaTauri getting a much better run, however it's on the outside. Was better than has the inside for this corner, but the outside line is the better for the run. OJ stays ahead for now. Final lap of the race, final few corners in this Grand Prix. There aren't many on this track, however there is still a long way to go. One of the Mercedes coming to bother at turn 1, that's Eldorado also getting involved. FV Pixels by the looks of it. OJ just running his slightest bit wide, however doesn't have long to go. That AlphaTauri is right there, but is carrying a penalty. He's going to be banking on that. Impulse retiring from the session. It is even worse for the AlphaTauri team. Let's see what's happened there. Spinning out of the second, Lesmo. Thankfully off to the right hand side. Not going to be causing a issue at this point. It is already ending the Grand Prix. OJ English very unstable through the corner, it looked like. Heading up, it looks like Apex is just right on the fringes. Maybe he can blow up and might get into 4th at this rate. No, misses out by 23 thousandths of a second. Apex takes 3rd over Broughton, who's carrying the penalty. Very hectic sprint race. D765 taking the win. Harrison M in 2nd and Apex 3rd. Fourth goes to JL Broughton after carrying a 2-second time penalty and missing out by the smallest of margins in 5th is Blyappa. And the rest of the grid, JL Broughton takes 4th place and Blyappa in 5th. The Red Bull of Invictus Nog takes into 6th position and 7th is OJ English. 8th position goes to our first repeat in the top 8, Sam Baker also in the Williams and Curly 7 in 9th place. Treeboy 53 takes 10th, Eldorado in 11th, FE Pixels in 12th. Impulse in 13th, unfortunately having a crash out in the last lap, still getting classified as a finisher. Scarlet 42 also getting involved in an accident with Broughton, and VNT Rosenquist is 15th with a DNF. Our final sprint of the season is over. We'll be back with you shortly for the main race of round 11, the Italian Grand Prix. Welcome back to Season 5 of the FVC, Round 11 of the Italian Grand Prix. We have just completed our sprint race and we're heading on to the main event. 27 laps at the historic Temple of Speed. The Monza circuit is definitely host to a lot of good races. Previous race winner Apex is down in 3rd, however D765 has taken the pole for this race. Harrison M 2906 with the McLaren team heads into 3rd and Apex, defending champion as well, is in 3rd. Sorry, Harrison M is in 2nd. JL Broughton in the Ferrari after an unfortunate incident with Scott only came in 4th, with Blyappa just barely missing out in 5th. Invictus Nog in the Red Bull is in 6th place, OJ English in 7th, and our first repeat teammate is in 8th of Simon Baker, 67. The Williams team being very fast all over the season, they've had their ups and downs, however they are looking to be good for this race. Curly 7 in 9th, Treeboy 53 takes 10th place. Moving down to the bottom position of the grid, Eldorado 2009 is in 11th, coming through Lesmo 1 backwards. FV Pixels, McLaren driver, McLaren driver today, was a reserve for the Aston Martin team previously, is in 12th. Estrogen Impulse unfortunately crashing out of the sprint in 13th. Impulse was seeming quick, definitely going to be one to watch during the race. Scarlet 42 also having her own accident in 14th. She is also another one to watch, very quick driver as well. 15th goes to VNT Rosenquist, the Red Bull driver, not having the greatest qualifying, coming last as well as having a standing penalty and DNFing out of the sprint. And joining us for the main event, we have Brady Pollock 037 in the Haas, a very quick driver, as a number of cars getting disqualified in the session and heading back to pit lane. Apex is also involved, I didn't see the message come up for that. The Haas driver has proven his worth over in the main races beforehand. See one of the Mercedes cars going straight into the wall, no damage in the formation lap, thankfully getting away with it. Apex telling me he apparently spun throughout the main formation lap. Going around the final corner now, we see Brady Pollock also having her own accident. Let's hope that's not happening in the race. Predicting the pit stop strategy, medium to hard, pitting on lap 12 of 15, and a 2-stopper at lap 6 to 8 and lap 16 to 21. We'll see what the drivers think of that. Anything can happen, the safety cars might come into a big advantage here. Anything can happen in the FVC. Round 11, the season's coming to a close shortly, but it is still all to play for up at the front. Cars reforming, D765 takes pole position, McLaren alongside, and an Aston Martin and Ferrari behind. Let's try and get a view of the lights. Don't have one. That camera is. 5 lights are on. It's lights out and away we go. It's a good launch for the Mercedes car, but it looked like the Ferrari behind got an absolutely flying launch, already up to third, now second. Apex also getting a great launch. Ferrari having a look around the right hand side, now heading to the left and on the outside line for turn 1. Trying to look for the switchback. Apex still there against Harrison M. All cars making it through pretty cleanly, doesn't seem anyone's got into any bother at turn 1. Side by side through Cover Grande, brought in on the outside line, getting ahead just a bit. D765 going to have the better line through Cover Grande, however on the inside for the 4th and 5th corners. Going to be brought in, just has to back out a bit. The Mercedes coming together. Simon Baker retiring from the session. Also out, Curly 7 in the background. Not sure what's happened there. Virtual safety car is deployed. Dorado, 5-second penalty for colliding with SRG and Impulse. BSC already deployed, 2 cars out. That is a huge hamper on Williams' title contention. Also involved, and also hampered as well, is the AlphaTauri team. Full safety car has also been deployed. The hectic turn 1, but the biggest winner so far, JL Broughton, from 4th up to 1st. D75 has to settle for 2nd, still a good advantage over Harrison M in 3rd and Apex down in 4th. Victor Snog moving up to 5th position, OJ English in 6th, Blyappa down in 7th, Treeboy 53 in 8th, a first repeat in the top 8. Scarlet 42 making a number of moves up to 9th, as is Impulse in 10th, Eldorado 2009 in 11th, Brady Pollock 12th, good start for the Haas driver, number car taking to pit lane already going to alternate strategies. Number of cars going in, one of the Aston Martins reporting side pod damage. Scarlet 42, badly damaged side pods according to her. That's going to be an interesting throw to the race. Layup at 51.69, leaving the session with some more internet issues for the Alfa Romeo driver. La has been quick, but he has faced his fair share of unfortunate moments. He doesn't seem to have a break yet. Also damaged on Scarlett's car is the underbody, although only minor compared to the sidepod damage. Playapa thankfully getting back into session before the safety car is over. One car left to catch up. You should be going green at the end of this lap. All cars together. Race control confirming safety car coming in this lap. JL Broughton going to control the field for the restart. D765 in second, Harrison M in third. Number of fast drivers all throughout the field, and a number of others that are definitely very much out of place. 9th and 10th looking to FV Pixels and VNT Rosenquist. Those two drivers are not some that you'd expect to have some of the others behind. Brady Polker 37 and Scarlett being very quick drivers, but both near the back of the field. Jumping over to JL Broughton for the restart. Still under yellow for now. Backing everybody up. Still not gone. Those cars are getting very close to each other. Has to be single file though. Green again. Lap 4 of 27. We are racing again. Harrison M getting a poor start. Apex getting a much better start than the McLaren. We're making a move into turn 1. They're side by side. Gonna have a look. The Red Bull coming from miles back, nearly taking out the Aston Martin. Things getting a bit wobbly back. It's now up to 4th. Scarly 42 up to 8th, and Brady Hawk up to 7th. Pixels Rose was falling down. Harrison M fell all the way to 14. Must have had a spin, as is SOG and Impulse, both having their own problems coming through turn 1. Running away at the front of the field, they're already half a second of a gap. JL Broughton. That Mercedes though is very quick and is lurking, but our FVC2 champion and graduate going to be looking to take his first win of the season and definitely prove his worth in the main series. Coming around the second to last, coming around the second straight, heading to the final corner. That Mercedes is gaining, just not enough though. Bit of a bad exit out the corner. That Mercedes is lurking. Fastest lap, 1:23.940 for the Mercedes driver. He is gaining all the way. Has a look to the right hand side, running out of track, has to dip over to the left. Broughton's going to have the inside. Mercedes braking later. Going to be side by side through turn 1. D75 just has to back out for the first corner. Definitely sounds like contact behind. The Alfa Romeo of Playapa going very wide off the corner. Charlie 42 back into pit lane again. More underbody damage for that car. Brady Polk on an absolute charge, already moving up to 5th. Drops down to 6th temporarily, back up to 5th though. There's going to be too wide through the first Lesmo. Brady just gets ahead. Sam Baker. No, sorry, OJ English, my bad, having to just drop out a little bit. However, is going to be gaining all the way down the straight. Very tricky to keep a car planted through a sky, especially when you have little downforce on the car in front. English manages it well though, is losing a lot of time to the car in front. Brady Paul is just too quick of a driver for the Williams driver. Haas just proving to be that much faster than the Williams is. Dale Broughton a 1:23.715, a new fastest lap of the race. Still 3.7 seconds to go before the lap record is broken, and DRS is enabled. Back up the front, we see D75 still fighting, trying to catch up to Broughton. Inti Rosenquist making a move for 12th place against Impulse. Impulse heading into pit lane actually, so not as much of a move as a free position gained. Broughton getting a very poor line out of the second chicane. D75 is going to be on the inside through the first leg move, backside of it. Broughton stays ahead. Ferrari driver must be feeling a lot of pressure. Fast Mercedes, absolutely rapid. Not only at this track, but at all of them. DRS now wide open for the Mercedes. Going to be gaining all the way down the straight. Heads to the left hand side, just backs out before Ascari. Lets the Ferrari take the first line. He's going to be disadvantaging himself though. The dirty area is going to be huge. Running over the curbs, getting a little bit unstable. The Ferrari getting that much of a better launch out of the corner. However, they are very close together. D75 probably going to stay behind before Parabolic just to keep himself the DRS. Nope, actually he's going for it. Broughton brakes to give himself the DRS. Riding an advantage all the way down the start finish straight. Also behind though, Apex in third is extremely close to this battle for the lead. Fourth is also there with the Red Bull of Invictus Nog, and Brady Polk is catching. Jumping board now with the Ferrari. 123, 194 for the Haas. Here comes Broughton to the left hand side to turn one. It'll be 2 by 2 again. These both very skilled drivers. Wheel to wheel, bang, staying side by side. D75 getting the short end of the stick, goes off the track. Apex now into second, getting the better advantage of the two. Apex making a move for the lead, heading into the left hand side, into turns 4 and 5. On the inside, he has the better line, locking up just a bit. The contact between the space, spinning round. Ferrari is pushed around, also runs the Mercedes. It is carnage up at the front. Brady up into third. Nog up into second. Broughton keeping first position. That is 2 cars fighting for the lead, both gone, falling down the field. Broughton up, stays in first. Nog is in second and is Broughton's only defence against that charging Haas. FV Pixels, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Two yellows. Nog running very wide into the entrance to Ascari. That is a very poor line. Brady Polk's going to get a much better launch. That defence is very risky from Nog. Haas absolutely flying along the straight. That Red Bull has wing damage. The front right end plate is gone. Riding absolutely no challenge against the Haas. Also now the Williams of OJ English moving up into third position from the inside of that Red Bull, forcing Nog to stay out on track for another lap. Some more of an advantage is lost. Nog though is going to have the higher straight line speed, less drag. Be challenging into turn 1. There's a huge dive heading into the inside of Brady. Contact made, side pod not spinning round though. Contact from English running to the back of the Red Bull. Doesn't spin either car around, thankfully. That is still going in a straight line. It's very good to see. That ambitious lunge from the Red Bull does push Brady just a little bit further back and out of the DRS range of Broughton. However, there is nothing stopping that car from catching up. OJ English still looking for a way past that stricken Red Bull. DRS wide open, coming down to Ascari. To the right, to the left hand side of the track, much faster straight line due to the DRS wide open. Easy breezes past through Ascari. Advantage only going to be gained due to that Red Bull's damage. Going very far off the track, scarily so. Brady is caught up to within a second. Gonna have the DRS down this straight. Gonna be just too far back to make anything happen though. Now, after a 1-2 mini lap, Nog hugs the inside of the final corner, heading into pit lane to get that front wing changed. Victus Nog, 5-second penalty speeding in pit lane. It has gone from bad to worse for the Red Bull team. All cars getting a little bit spread out. Scarlet 42, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Speaking of Scarlet 42, making contact with the Red Bull through the first chicane. Having to run right to the track on the grass. That is going to be definitely an SI if I have to guess. Only a third of the way through the race though, there is still a bunch of laps to go. Now being very dangerous, pushing Scarlet over to the left hand side on the grass again. Thankfully Charlie getting the move done, but diving right back down the inside on the hard compound tyres. This is going to be a very tough battle between these two. Layapa moves up into fourth position ahead of D765 Mercedes. By the looks of things on the timing stand. We'll keep an eye on this battle for 12th, jumping back up to the battle for 4th. Eldorado is going to be a sitting duck all the way down the straight. That Alfa Romeo is absolutely flying. Heading to the right hand side, easily breezes past before turn 1. Not quite there actually. Vienti Rosenquist retiring from the session in 11th place. That is right in front of their teammate, jumping over. Let's see what's happened there. Not quite getting to see. We'll jump back to that in a second. So his impulse is closer. That battle for 3rd is still raging on. Rosenquist hitting the right hand side wall and going backwards by the looks of things there, out of Ascari. Heading back to 3rd, Eldorado still holding the position, Blyaf still in 4th, however that teammate Mercedes D75 is still lurking behind. Harrison M, 2906, also catching up to Apex for 7th. Something must have happened to Broughton as well actually. Broughton's down in 6th, Brady taking the lead. As the safety car is being deployed, I must have missed that. Eldorado 2009, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. No damage present on that Haas, so whatever happened to Broughton did not catch Brady with it. Lap 10 of 27, we might see a number of more drivers head for a second stop. Brady Pollock definitely takes that chance. It is a gift in this position, as does OJ English. Eldorado stays out, Blyap and D75 as well as Broughton all go in. Eldorado will now be the leader of the race in the hard compound tyres, but will be stuck out there. Victor Snow, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That is a lot of penalties there. Already 8 seconds of penalties for the Red Bull driver. Coming out in second will be Brady Pollock, as the game refuses to show us the Haas car. Medium compound tyres for the Haas. Not a surprise at this point in the race. Still a decent fair bit to go, but already cleared that first rush. OJ English, the hard compound tyres for the Williams driver. Blyap 5169 also on the hards. Treeboy 53 in 5th now on the mediums. D765 has elected to go for the hard compound tyres. Broughton also looks to be on the hards. Interesting strategies from some, very differing strategies from others. Apex hard compound tyre, Haas and M also on the hard. I think there's no hard compound as well. A lot of drivers seem to be electing for the hards at this point in the race. However, a number of them also thinking the medium might work better. Two cars still have to catch up quite a lot, as well as the McLaren of Pixels, just a little bit to go. We're not going to be going green this lap or the next by the looks of things. But it all depends, and I guess we will see. Apex Miata, a 5-second penalty, severe collision with Harrison M. Harrison M also dropping out of the session. No damage, it looks like, to that Aston Martin. One car left to catch. We're not going green this race. There is a number of problems, it looks like. Race control, safety car in this lap. It's a very late control, very late call. However, lap 12 of 27, lap 13, my bad. Going to be going back to green once again. Eldorado 2009 controls the pace. Very late launch, just past the pit lane wall. We are back to green flag racing. Looks like the Ferrari of Treeboy got a very good launch. Actually, no, Blyap was the one that got the launch. Already heading up into 4th position. Dorado's going to lead into turn 1. Brady Pollock, though, is right there, as is OJ English. OJ challenging the Haas. All cars seem to get through nicely. Apex making a move against Nug up into 8th. Layapa taking an absolute charge in that Alfa Romeo, losing against the Ferraris though. Treeboy pulling out, might make a move into the Lesmo. Just backs out of it at the last second, jumping on board, trying to catch up greatly. However, that Mercedes D75 is behind. He's got to watch out behind as well as try catch up in front. D75 hits the left hand side, not much track there. We're going to be going down the inside into Ascari. Going to be side by side. The hardcore tires are much worse tire here. Gets it done though. What a brilliant move into the entrance to Ascari. Victor Snug gaining ever so much on the car in front. Got to be careful of that Aston Martin of Scarlett though. She is right there along with them. Nog trying to go around the outside of Treeboy. Gets it done. Ferrari seems like it's barely moving compared to the Red Bull. Brady Pollock over 37 took the lead of the race. Up into 1st. The Haas now leads. Broughton moves up into 3rd. Bly up into 3rd. There's a huge incident up to turn 1. Broughton 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. Not quite sure what happened there. I think the Alfa Romeo made a dive. Very, very bad one indeed, and it's caused Broughton to get a penalty. That is hugely unfortunate for the Ferrari. Unfortunately, nothing we stewards can do. We cannot remove in-game penalties. Making a move though for 4th. OJ English and D75 are going at each other. Mercedes looking for any way past possible. Gaining all the way down. So going to be the left hand side. They're going to be 2 by 2 again into Ascari. Also 2 by 2 is in front. The Ferrari and Broughton's went round. Dorado and Broughton coming together. Ferrari getting the worst end of the stick. From bad to terrible to even worse for Broughton, all the way down at the end of the field with a 10-second penalty as well. DRS enabled again. Harrison M making a move for 10th against Blyapa. Broughton leaving the session, unsurprising. Things calming down, just little drivers stop making moves, but they are still all around each other. Williams sandwiched between the two. Mercedes, Impulse, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. D765 is looking again to make a move into Ascari. On board, just not enough speed to keep up with the Williams. Very close to the rear end. Red Bull is also right behind, you gotta be careful. Dorado not getting a great run out of Ascari. That Williams just getting that much better. D75 is dropping off, can't move back though. That Red Bull is there. That Williams seemed to be not moving. What happened there? English falling down the field. Also broke just too hard into the corner. However, here goes Scarlett fighting against the Red Bull over the left hand side of the track. There is millimeters of space between these two cars. Braking hard into turn one. Scarlett had to go off the grass, braking the front wing. Front right end plate gone. Just hitting into the back of one of the cars. Getting spun round as well. It's far worse. Things going terrible for the Aston Martin driver. However, making moves up near the top, Estrogen Impulse up into 4th is carrying a penalty, but things are very tight up here. Scarlett's having to go. Well, that looks like Apex actually having to go over the corner. I think that's another broken wing for the Aston Martin team. 2x2 through the first left mode, keeping it going. Impulse staying ahead, going to be single file through the second. Impulse just too far back. Dorado going a huge mile faster. Red Bull into the wall hard. Victor Snug somehow keeping it going, but I think that wing's broken for that car. Not quite sure what this Red Bull is doing. See the damage on that. Can't see it. We're just too far away. Defending of that car is very questionable. Pushing some cars onto the grass, hitting into the wall. D763 setting a 123, 137. Red Bull feigning going into the pit lane. That is a questionable move there. If your wing's broken, I'd be getting to that fixed as soon as I can. OJ English trying to fight against that Red Bull. Having a look, it is missing that front left end plate. English trying to go the long way around. That's a bad pushing off the track. And Nog is right in the way, coming very horrible rejoin right into the way of one of the Aston Martins. Charlie 42 in for a wing change. That is Apex. That got impeded there by that rejoin. Thankfully getting ahead up to 5th place. 122.801 from Blah. Oh, the Alfa Romeo team. That Red Bull going across the chicane. 3-second penalty for corner cutting, going over the escape road. That is questionable driving standards from the Red Bull today. McLaren's going 2x2. Harrison getting ahead of FD Pixels up into 6th place. What was that going on back there? No, forcing another car into the wall, it looked like. Williams of OJ English, unfortunately getting the short end of the stick there. Broken front wing for that car. .121.806 for Brady Pollock. That Haas is flying up at the front. Half a second interval up into the leading two cars. OJ English and Invictus Nog into pit lane. We see Harrison M and Apex going at it. Apex getting flying ahead, is carrying a 5-second though against that McLaren. Things calming down just a bit. McLaren of Harrison M trying to fight way back up to Apex. Brady Pollock seems to have come into bother. 3.7 seconds down now on the Mercedes in front. Scholarly 42 getting ahead of Broughton. Penalty differences between those two make it not that interesting to watch. Broughton carrying 7 seconds worth more of penalties than the Aston Martin driver. Treeboy also getting ahead of Broughton. I think that Ferrari's come into bother. Impulse and Dorado both have a 3-second penalty. 3 tenths between them. Impulse going to get that much better run down this start finish straight though. DRS going to be a huge event for the AlphaTauri. Already flying. Treeboy 53. 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. There is very little space left for the AlphaTauri. And into turn 1 they're going to be side by side. That Mercedes is extremely quick, keeping up with that AlphaTauri that has a DRS open. Impulse just has to back out for the first corners. Dorado getting ahead. Dorado, huge spin out of the corners. Impulse having to go, taking avoiding action off track, somehow not getting into each other. Dorado letting Impulse by. Good show of sportsmanship between these two. Did impede the AlphaTauri driver, however got it back all very cleanly. Impulse up into third. And a very, very respectable show of sportsmanship between these two drivers. Closest two cars on track going to be the 5th and 6th positions of Harrison M and the Apex Miata. Half a second between them. Our penalties definitely separating between them, 5 seconds worth. Aston Martin absolutely flying compared to the McLaren. Has looked to the right, looked to the left, running into the back of the Aston running into the back of the McLaren. Doesn't seem to be any wing damage there or any damage to the back of the car in front. Excuse me, my voice is starting to go. Things are quieting down now, thankfully. It was a hectic first half of the race, but as we come into the closing quarters, FV Pixels, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. All cars now outside of a second of each other, pretty much. Harrison M and Apex about 9 tenths. Blyap a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That is 2 cars remaining. Dorado heading to pit lane. And my mistake is actually 3 cars remaining that are still running yet to get a penalty. Pixel's running his own race up in 6th. Going to be a good Season 5 debut for McLaren if he keeps this up. 4th and 6th for the team is going to be a good haul of points. We see Pixels running off the track in the first Lesmo. Thankfully, the big buffer to the car behind. However, he does need to be careful. He is carrying 9 seconds worth of penalties. That fly up behind is only 10 seconds, now gaining up to 9 with that runoff. Pixels needs to hope that Dorado can catch up to the Alfa Romeo and those two battle. There's definitely some side pod damage as well to that McLaren by the looks of things on the off-board cameras. Brady Pollock heading through pit lane, lap 23 of 27. Pixel spinning it through Parabolica, breaking that front wing. Heading off into the gravel, getting back, going very slowly, avoids getting beached. That front right end plate is damaged, falling down to 8th, needing to head through the pit lane again for that 9-second penalty. It's going to be a long time in the pits. Seems like a lot of things I've been saying so far. Of course, some drivers, Scarly 42 down in 9th. Brady Pollock back on the charge, trying to get as many positions as he can. Looking though, closest two cars on track are 10th and 11th, Invictus Nook and Treeboy 53. Treeboy should have the pace to be able to catch up, the FVC veteran. Harrison M into second ahead of Impulse. What's happened to Impulse? Impulse in pit lane. That'll promote Apex up into third. Brady going back onto fourth. The final pit cycle seems to be with us shortly. Goes right for some people. We might see some potential new lap records. Eldorado 2009, another 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. OJ English catching up to Dorado. Or maybe things are looking the other way around. That is Dorado and Impulse right next to each other actually. Looking at the wrong two cars, closest cars on track. Impulse isn't carrying as much penalty, but it is definitely worth watching. We are a little bit dry on content, however these two are definitely going to reignite the final ending stage of this race. Jumping on board, Eshed Impulse, try and hunt down that Mercedes. Soft compound tyres for the Alpha Tauri driver, as well as the Mercedes. Depending on the fuel load that these two have, we might see the new track record come up very shortly. 120.003 to beat, set all the way back in Season 3 by LCR F1 ban. Brady Pollock, a 121.079 for the Haas team. 1 second left to go and he can do it without a slipstream. These two working together could definitely see the new lap record being set today. Lap 25 for these two cars. Impulse getting that toe all the way down straight. DRS wide open, head to the right hand side. Going to be 2x2 into turn 1. He needs to hope to get a better line. Impulse very clean to the second bit. Dorado just getting back on the inside, however, is completely out of the way. Jumping back on board with Impulse for the rest of this lap. He had a good run down the straight. He could potentially smash this lap record if he keeps the rest of the lap together. Down through turn 3, heading up to turn 4 and 5. Got to keep it nice and tight on the lines. Good first section, good second section onto the exit. Slowing down, letting Dorado go by. Returning the favour of sportsmanship shown a couple of laps earlier. Apex getting a 30-second time penalty for multiple warnings. 8 seconds now for that driver. Brady Pollock is closing fast. At this rate, Aston Martin is not going to get on the podium without a miracle happening in front. Heading down, lap 26, less fuel load, running again, Impulse onto the grass. Dorado backing out of turn 1, however Impulse getting a much worse line, has to cut across the escape road. coming back on track, is ahead of the Mercedes, going to give that position back. There's another lap aborted. He has one final shot on the final lap of the race if he wants to take the lap record. While his mind is probably on 6th place right now, carrying 3 seconds less of penalty, he is probably very close to getting another if he's not careful with his warnings. DRS wide open for the AlphaTauri again, heading to the left hand side of the Mercedes, coming down to Ascari. They're going to be side by side into the braking zone. They are equal, neck and neck. Impulse getting ahead. He's going to lose that DRS toe down the main straight though. Keeping an eye on Brady Pollock as well, he was 3/10 behind Apex, possibly had DRS down the main straight. This could be the lap record breaker from either of these drivers. Dorado, DRS wide open, heading to the left hand side of the track, breezing by the AlphaTauri. However, we'll jump back to that battle at the end of the lap. Final lap. For 3rd position, although Apex is carrying penalties, it's going to be for the on-track position. Brady Pollock 037 versus Apex. Hard versus soft compound. Aston Martin versus Haas. Every advantage right now is towards Brady, however he still has to make the move into after the lap. Side by side into Ascari. Brady does have the worst line on entrance. He breaks a lot later than the Aston Martin though. Gets it done. Running wide though. The Aston Martin is still there on the inside. Little bit unstable through the corner, keeping it side by side. D65 wins the race, crossing the line in 1st. 18-second gap from 2nd place. 3-time winner now in Season 5. Rounding the final corner though, on track. There is little between them. Brady Pollock will take 3rd. Treeboy gets another second for multiple warnings. Harrison M is taking 2nd for the McLaren team. Brady Pollock in 3rd. 5-second penalty for unserved for Apex. It is not a new lap record yet. Jumping back, Impulse Dorado still going at it on track. Dorado will take the on-track position, but Impulse has the less penalties. Rounding the final corner. Going to be 6th for Impulse, 7th for English. The lap record remains as it was set in Season 3 unless any of the remaining drivers have anything to say about it. Scarlett doesn't have anything. Nog swerving, so it doesn't look like he'll have anything. Treeboy doesn't have anything either. One final car left, FV Pixels, the McLaren team. Doesn't seem like Pixels has anything for it either. Driver of the day voted by the game as Brady Pollock 037, and I personally do not disagree. Coming in, no qualifying, finishing in 3rd. That is a very, very respectable finish for the Haas. A familiar face now at the top step of the podium, and some unfamiliar ones in the 2nd and 3rd. D765 takes the win at the Italian Grand Prix for round 11, his 3rd win of the season. Harrison M takes 2nd place for the McLaren team, and Brady Pollock 037, after a tremendous effort, no qualifying, no sprint, comes home in 3rd place. Went good for some, bad for others, but overall it was a very fun one to watch. Our standings after the 27 laps of Monza. D75 takes the win, Harrison M in 2nd and Brady Pollock in 3rd. 4th goes to the defending champion Apex, just missing out on that podium, and Blyap comes home in 5th. Estrogen Impulse on track in 6th and OJ English in 7th. 8th goes to Eldorado 2009, 9th to Scarlet 42, and the final points playing position in 10th goes to Invictus Nog. Treeboy53, FVC veteran for the Ferrari team in 11th, FE Pixels in 12th, and Broughton, unfortunately, a lap down in 13th. Went horribly wrong for the Ferrari team today, and it's not a good home race for them. B&T Rosenquist DNFing in 14th, Curly7 in 15th, and Simon Baker in 16th. Two cars didn't make it past the first lap. Some didn't make it all the way at all, but for the majority of us, we got the race finished, and boy was an exciting one.